Hello everybody, Flyaway J here and welcome to leg 14 of the Walker Air Nordics tour. Today we're going to be taking a flight from the Faroe Islands, situated at Vagar Airport, all the way to Hornafjordur Airport, which is located in Iceland, taking the Cessna Citation Longitude. We can see over here, beautiful aircraft and a beautiful day to go flying. Basically, we've got about 12 people aboard, including myself, the pilot. Going to be cruising at 43,000 feet. Flight time of around 43 minutes, covering about 281 nautical miles. As you can see, it's fairly quiet. Sun's just coming up over the horizon. It's just been up for a little bit. Quite an interesting departure here. Very sharp right turn this morning. Let's see how we go. First things first, let's get this puppy started. So first things, circuit breakers all checked. I don't think they're really modeled in this Cessna Citation in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but we can try anyways. Let's get rid of this yoke quickly. Alright, first things, start standby power on. Let's let these screens power up. Check the voltage. Looks good. Let's turn the batteries on, left and right. Everything looks good. Parking brake is set. Cool. Let's get the APU started.
Pause system test. Okay.
That's good to know. Thank you so much. Let's get the APU started. Should be able to see here once we get 100% on the APU. We make sure that it's on. And now that the APU is coming up, we set that.
Okay.
Let's hit the generator so that the APU powers us up. We weren't on external power anyways, but it is available if we needed it. Everything else looks set. Cool. Looking good. Always have to check the fuel quantity. That's enough to get us all the way to Iceland. You don't need that much, but it's rather be safe than sorry, just in case we need to do a diversion to another airport. While we're here, let's just quickly set our altitudes so now we're not wasting fuel, and fuel is money. After the engines have started, so we can set those up. Vertical speed after takeoff, we're going to do quite a steep takeoff initially, 5,000 foot per minute. Turn that off, but that's ready to go. Today, based on our weight, V1 going to be about 121 knots, rotation speed at 122, and taking off at 185. Alright, before we get started, you can hear the APU running. But let's do this. Parking brake is currently set, wheel chocks are removed, cabin door is closed, passenger briefing is complete, seats and seat belts adjusted and fastened. Let's get these recognition lights on. That would be these ones over here. Make sure that there's nothing behind us or beside us. Gonna be a pretty easy pushback. Let's get the fuel shutoff valve on. It's this thing over here. Perfect, ready to start the engines. Anti-collision lights goes on. Throttles, both throttles need to be at idle. That's where they are. Now we can get the engine started. Get that. You can see the N2 spinning up. Reset that caution. Once the N2 hits 20%, we can hit the run stop button. 19 and 20. So let's hit run stop. That's this engine spooling up and getting ready. So what we'll notice now, N2 coming up, temperatures rising, oil pressure coming up, and the oil temperature is also rising. Once this engine stabilizes, we can then repeat the same process on engine number 1, otherwise known as the left engine. You can see there on the screen currently what's going to happen is I've got a sharp right hand turn following the I guess a fjord or an inlet, whatever you want to call it. Follow that all the way out on the climb out of Vagar Airport. Okay, engine number 2 stabilized. Let's do the same. Hit the starter. N2 spooling up, waiting for 20%. Oil pressure is coming up slowly, temperature's increasing. Once the N2 hits 20%, we can run it. There we go, 20%. Run, close that, close that. Okay, same thing. N2 coming up, pressure coming up, oil temperature coming up. Good to go. Electrical power is still being generated, obviously, by the APU, but when both these engines are running, we'll switch over to the generators on the engines. Okay, good. Left generator on, right generator on, bus tie open, and we can turn off the APU. Next thing we can do is just set the spoilers to normal. Let's have a look at the flight controls. Full left, full right, full up, full down, and the rudders we can check. Also what we need to test is the spoilers. Spoilers are good, otherwise known as the speed brakes. I like to fly in VATSIM, so what we'll do at this stage is set the frequency to the uncontrolled airspace, and while we're here, just set the nav source to GPS, because what we're going to do is rely on that on the way out of there. Cool. Now what we need is some help to get out of here. I'm going to ask this gentleman here to give us a little bit of a pushback. And to do that, I'm just going to plan it slightly. You can just push us into this direction here. And I'm going to request that pushback. Like I say, nothing too hectic about this pushback. No one next to us, so you can just kind of line us up straight with the taxi line. Gonna release the parking brake, release the hold, and there starts the pushback. Not quite sure what's going on there, but whatever. Pushback complete. Hit the parking brake. Thank them for pushing us back. And now we can get the taxi lights on. And that's all we need to do. At this point, we can set our flaps for takeoff. Alright. Release the speed brake. I mean the parking brake. Let's get this show on the road. Just gonna test the brakes here quickly.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard. Please ensure that you fastened your seatbelt, return your seat back and folding trays to their full upright positions, and store your carry-on luggage in either the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. If you're seated next to an emergency exit, please carefully read the special instructions located near that exit. If you do not wish to perform any of the functions described in the event of an emergency, please inform a crew member so you may be reseated. At this time, we request that all portable electronic devices, such as cell phones or portable computers, be either powered off or put into the airplane mode, as these devices may cause interference with the aircraft's natural signals and communication equipment. We will notify you when it is safe to continue to use these devices. We remind you that smoking aboard this aircraft, as well as tampering with, disabling, or destroying lavatory smoke detectors, is prohibited by law. If you have any questions about our flight, please don't hesitate to ask a crew member. Thanks for your attention. If I could have everyone's full attention while we review safety information, that would be great. When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fittings one into the other and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. You can release your seatbelt by lifting the upper portion of the buckle. It's recommended that you keep your seatbelt fastened during the flight in case we experience turbulence. There's several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a moment now to locate the nearest exit to you. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you toward the exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide which may also be attached and used as flight raft. Oxygen and air pressure are continually monitored. In the event of a concussion, an oxygen mask will fall in front of you from the ceiling. To start the flow of oxygen, hold the mask toward you and place it firmly over your mouth and nose. Secure the elastic band behind your head and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who needs assistance, secure your own mask first, then assist the other person. Keep your mask on until a crew member advises you to remove it. In the event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position. Lean forward with your hands on top of your head and your elbows against your thighs. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor. A life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head, pass the straps around your waist, and adjust at the front. Only when leaving the aircraft, inflate the vest by pulling firmly on the red cord. If you need to refill the vest, blow into the mouthpiece. Use the whistle and light to attract attention. Also, your seat bottom cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Electronic devices such as MP3 players, phones, and laptop computers may be used when the seatbelt sign is off or when permitted by the crew. Mobile phones must be turned off at all times. This is a non-smoking flight. Remember that damaging the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. You will find this and all other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We strongly suggest you read it before takeoff. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask myself or one of our crew members. We wish you all an enjoyable flight.
Alright, cabin crew ready for departure. Here we go. V1, rotate, gear up, autopilot on, watch this departure. Quite a sharp turn to get out of here, but we're doing it. Pretty much an unrestricted climb out of here. 5,000 foot per minute. No other traffic around, so we're good to go. Continuing that climb. Gonna try and keep the speed around 300. Might just drift a little bit over it. But look at that scenery. Microsoft Flight Simulator, you've really outdone yourselves. It's not like they've created a flight simulator, it's more like they've created a world simulator. Just look at that climb rate. Like a rocket. Flaps are up, gears are up, aircraft is clean. We're going to keep those landing lights on just until we pass through 18,000 foot.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now use electronic devices. Once we reach our cruising altitude, the flight attendants will be making their way through the cabin with food and drink. Now sit back, relax, and have a great flight.
Once I hit about 18,000 foot, I like to switch the speed from knots to Mach, and then just continue a bit of a cruise climb at Mach 0.73. While we get there, we'll just enjoy some of these outside views of the Faroe Islands. Absolutely beautiful. There's 18,000. Setting the speed to 0.73, Mach 0.73. Hitting the auto throttle. It can take control of the speed. Gonna decrease that rate of climb slightly, just so that we can get up to speed. And that's it, leaving behind the Faroe Islands on the way to Hornafjordur in Iceland. I hope I'm pronouncing that right and not butchering it. Still climbing like a rocket. So the nice thing about these over-the-ocean legs is that we can use a bit of a faster jet just to cover a bit of extra distance. There's not a whole lot to see, but it does make it quite fun with the automated systems and RNAV approaches and that sort of thing. Generally what I'd like to do is for the shorter, more land-based flights, fly the Cessna 172, so like and subscribe if you're quite interested in seeing where we end up next. This particular Nordics tour in Walker Air Transport is quite well made. Credit goes to the creator of it. He's chosen some really interesting fields, from big city airports to island airports to little dirt strips all around the Nordics. We'll even end up in Svalbard at some point, which is quite far north, and then end up in Helsinki, Finland, I suppose, as our final stop. And then who knows from there. I guess we'll end up flying around the world, try and see as many countries, and that's all possible with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, they've really created a world simulator, not just a flight simulator. You can quite literally travel and see the world right from the comfort of your own home. See there in the distance, there's some clouds building up. As much as it was clear behind us, it looks like our approach into Iceland might be slightly different, maybe a little bit bumpy. So we'll have to see how good I can program these RNAV systems to get me onto a runway there. Fingers crossed. Just going to zoom out on the range here so we can see how far we are. Just climbing through 32,000 foot. Going to decrease that rate of climb slightly again just to make sure we can maintain that speed on the climb. The Cessna Citation Longitude is an immensely powerful jet. I've got almost a full load, almost at max weight, and it still performs like an actual race car. Or a rocket. Race car or a rocket. Outside air temperature dropping down to minus 54 degrees Celsius. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to turn on any wing icing at this stage. But we'll see how we go if we enter into some icing conditions. I don't foresee that to be a problem though. Let's go down to 2,000 feet per minute on the climb. Roughly another 3.5-4 minutes till we get to top of our climb. down to 1,500 foot per minute. Just making sure that we can maintain a good climb speed. I really can't get over how beautiful these models are, and just the scenery generally on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know X-Plane 12 just recently released a couple of days ago. People are definitely enjoying the difference in physics, but for me personally, you just can't beat what a flight simulator looks like, and the fact that it looks like the real world. I remember playing X-Plane 11 and having all those orthographic images done, spending hours and hours downloading those sort of things, and taking up huge amount of space on my PC. And here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's all kind of built in. You don't even have to worry about a thing, and you've got global orthographic scenery, which for me is a game changer. Looks like we're only going to have a very short little cruise. Before we start our descent. $1,000 foot to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the flight attendants are coming around with food and drink. You may also unfasten your seatbelt and move around the cabin at this point. Please enjoy the rest of the flight.
Just setting that to standard pressure. Almost at the cruise altitude. Alright, I'll catch up with y'all on the descent. Alrighty, we've reached the top of descent, so I'm going to start a pretty fast-paced descent down to
Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent.
4,000 foot.
Make sure to restore your seat belts and tray tables to the full upright position.
Going to try and manage
Also,
the speed
ensure
all the
that
way
your
down.
luggage is secured below the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins. Turn off all electronic devices until we arrive at the gate. Thank you.
Just look at that. And also approaching into a bit of a soupy mess of clouds. Hopefully I can pull off this RNAV approach, but the jury's out whether I'll be able to do it. I'll give it my best shot though. QNH at the destination airport is currently 1017. I'll set that once we cross through 18,000 feet. Until then, we're on standard. Just going to set my speed to 220. Out of curiosity, if anyone wants to take a guess what my landing rate is going to be, the previous one in this jet was 161 feet per minute. So let's see if I can better that. Walker Air Transport likes to rate the speed of your landings, or your rate of descent during your landings, I suppose is the better way of saying it. Anything above 600 is considered a fail, so let's try and get it below 600 and certainly lower than 161, which is my previous best in this jet. That means I'm going to have to nail the approach speed, and at our weight currently, VREF is 121, V approach is 133 knots. Not quite sure what that clicking noise is. Currently 123 nautical miles from the next checkpoint, being Idnur. Almost there. seems to be maintaining a good speed on the way down. No need for spoilers at this stage. Going down all the way to 4,000 foot. Right into that cloudy mess over there. So it looks like, according to the weather forecast, we've got clouds at 100 foot, 800 foot, broken at 2,100 and overcast at 4,000 foot. So we're in for some low visibility flying. Should make it quite fun though. See, at the moment there's a controller, VATSIM controller at Keflavik approach. It's a bit out of range for us, but nonetheless, we've set our radios to 122.8. According to Volanta though, there doesn't seem to be any traffic on either VATSIM or any other network between us and the airport, so some low traffic tonight, not today. This morning, I should say. Outside air temperatures coming up to 33 degrees, minus 33 degrees centigrade. Forecast at the airport. Should be about 12 degrees. Winds at the airport are 120 at 6 knots. About 19 minutes till we get to Idnir. Alright, at 18,000 we're gonna set
18,000 feet.
QNH at the airport, which is 1017, and that roughly converts to 3003. Here we can see our flight plan. Setting our approach speed. Getting close. I really can't get over the detail of these jets. These exterior models just look absolutely incredible. Yep, those clouds look nasty. Doesn't matter, we're gonna be fine. The official forecast for Hornafjordur Airport is that it's marginal VFR, but I honestly doubt it. I think this is pretty much going to be an IFR approach, unless through some sheer miracle we can visually see the runway through this mess, but I doubt it. I mean, we're not going to see much at all once we're in this soup. Just make sure we've got all our lights on that we need to have. Interior lights off, anti-collision lights. Those don't work. I'm actually just going to level off at 10,000 here. There we go, leveling off. This might allow us to stay above the clouds, but I don't think so. We'll probably end up just in the sort of top of it.
10,000 feet.
Well, maybe we are going to be on top, but nah, probably not. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think Hornafjordur Airport might... oh, there's some icing on the windows. Let's get these. Let's get that sorted out. There we go, sorted. Yep, so as I was saying, this might be a gravel strip, but the citation longitude is capable of dealing with that. That really looks pretty bad up front there. Can't even add the weather onto this map. Doesn't look that bad. Just cloudy, no real rain. We should be overhead of the land now. I can't see anything. Gosh, this looks completely messy. But just look at that. I mean, that's incredible for a flight simulator. "37 nautical miles to the waypoint." Almost there. I might have to start a bit more of a descent soon. But for the most part, I've been able to stay outside of the clouds, or above the clouds. Don't know how much longer that can last though. Gonna be going down to 6,000 feet. Outside air temperature is just coming up below, just under freezing. Might be able to turn off the anti-freezing features of the aircraft. You can see here on this map what the terrain looks like around us. Really quite a cool feature. But that's why I suppose you pay the big bucks for the citations. 19 nautical miles to Idnir. Here comes the bumpy part. I think the point that I like to make with all these flights is that I like to fly with live weather. It just adds a little bit more to the realism. Such as this. It might not be as beautiful, might not be able to see much scenery, but at least it's what's really happening, or it's typical weather to the area. Okay, Idnir is about 2 minutes away. Gonna start expediting that descent down to 6,000. About 1,000 foot per minute. Going down to 4,000. We're gonna bring that speed back to about 180. Hopefully deploy that first stage of flap. Hey, there's even a rainbow. Look at that. They've gone to great lengths to make this sim absolutely insane. Should be starting a left-hand turn shortly. At Idnir, I will turn on the approach. So we'll activate the approach for RNAV 18. You can see here my radar altitude. I'm not actually that high above the terrain, which is quite concerning. Particularly because I haven't even intercepted the, or I'm not at the right height for the glide slope even, so... Let us see what happens. Well, that's concerning. I
500, 400, 300,
I'm only 200 feet above the terrain here.
200,
That is not good. What on earth am I flying over? Wow, that is unbelievable. Okay, bring that speed back a bit. First stage of flap can come down. Can turn off all of these things. Wow, this is absolutely unbelievable. Just keep that heat on just in case. Okay, coming down to my approach speed, 133. Gonna hit those landing lights on, recognition pulse, everything's good. Auto ground spoilers are on.
$2,500,
I think I can come down to 1,000 now. Dropping an extra stage of flaps. Wow, this is something else. You can even hear the rain, which is I can make out the airport in front here, I think. Well, there's no chance of me seeing anything. Turn up the fan of that slightly. Wow, this is ridiculous. I was not expecting this kind of an approach.
One thousand.
Cool. So I should be able to see the airport at some point here. Just gonna drop my gear. Doing full flaps.
Hundred.
Autopilot.
Okay. Order throttle off.
400.
Oh, got the airport in sight.
Three hundred.
Bit of a weird entry, but let's do it.
200. 100.
50,
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Wow. That was something completely else.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will mean that we have parked at the gate and it's safe for you to move out. Please make sure that you've gathered any personal belongings around your seat. Be careful when opening the overhead bins, as luggage may have shifted during the flight. If you require assistance when deplaning, please remain seated until all passengers have exited. Please and happy to assist you. On behalf of the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this flight, and we look forward to seeing you on board again in the future. Have a great morning.
I think I see why you couldn't do a straight-in approach. There's a mountain that we can't see, so you kind of have to approach it from the side. Wow, that was an experience, that's for sure. Thank you, Walker Air, for arranging this. That was something I would never have done before, or otherwise, if it wasn't for this tour. Definitely fun, definitely gets the heart rate going a bit. All in all, fairly good landing. And for those of you wondering what my touchdown speed was, or touchdown rate was, it was minus 154 feet per minute. So less than my previous landing. A little pat on the back for myself. Or as Captain Canada would call it, butter. Wow, that was something else. Just gonna turn off all this ice protection. Don't know where the parking is in this airport, to be completely honest. Ah, I see, right at the end. Can't wait to see what this airport looks like when the weather's improved somewhat. Hopefully when we depart from here it's all clear, so we can kind of have a look around. Just gonna park straight in front of this terminal building. Just want to make sure I don't clip this other citation parked here. Wings are clear. Parking brake on. Let's shut her down. Ice protection must be off. Off, 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 off. Gonna turn the APU off. Main batteries connected. Standby power is still on. APU is off. Okay. Standby power switch off. APU off. Stereo lights off. And then let's turn her off. Well, thank you everyone for joining me on this flight. That certainly was an approach that I didn't expect. Definitely had a bit of fun. And I hope you can join me for the next one when we take off from here and head on over to some other small little airport on the island of Iceland. You have yourselves a good day. Flyaway J is out. Have a good one. Bye.